I'm doing great as long as I'm breathing and as long as all I want to do is to become a little bit more conscious. Most people probably they think like, really, but truly that's my real goal. That's all I want to do every day.
Welcome to Peggy's Recovery Corner. This is a recovery podcast. Recovery from what? Recovery from addiction, from alcoholism, mental health also. I have a very special guest today. His name is Farid Tabrizy. He's a good friend of mine. He's a professional that works in the field of addiction, alcoholism, and mental health. He actually has a place called Harmony Heals that is a counseling center. Welcome to the corner.
Thank you so much.
I've wanted to have you on here for such a long time. Before we get started, if you would please subscribe to the channel on YouTube. It's under Pej Interventions, and you can also like it and please share it with everybody. I often bring various people, a lot of people that are in recovery, and then people that also serve the community and help. And definitely, Farid's been doing this for decades. We'll get more into that. Our topic today is teaching love and compassion and using its elements to heal. And that's for all, for anybody, everybody that suffers, anybody that suffers with addiction, with alcoholism, with depression, with anxiety, all of it. I know that your center actually has many therapists, and you definitely house lots of therapists, and there's a lot that goes on there, and we will get into that a little bit more. But first, we want to learn about you. I've been wanting to have you on here for quite some time. We've talked about bringing you on. I've brought your beautiful, wonderful wife, Gina Tabrizy, on, who's renowned, and in the therapy world, she's renowned. She's definitely a force to be reckoned with, but so are you. So I want to learn about you, Farid. Who are you? Where were you born? Where were you raised? And how'd you get into the position of where you are in life?
I was born in Tehran, Iran, and I had two older brothers, and we're all 5 years apart, and I have definitely received lots of love from my mom and my dad. I was very, very fortunate that I was the youngest kid out of three. So when they got to me, I think they have more experience and more given. So I got really lucky, and so my brothers they left a long time before me. It's a long story, but anyway, I couldn't leave until 1983. I left. I went to Germany in order to come to here. Then I couldn't. I got stuck there. It's like, okay, since I'm here, it's a beautiful place. Why don't I just go to school and do my thing? So I ended up being there for about 3.5 years, 4 years. Then I came to US, and here I am.
Okay, so how old were you when you made it to the U.S.?
I was 25.
Okay, and then I know that you've studied a lot of languages. How many languages do you speak?
6.
Okay, and how many books have you written?
7.
And the books that you usually write are based around poetry?
Yeah, I wrote my first 2 books were martial arts books because I'm a martial artist, and then I start poetry about writing. I have written 5.
Okay. When it comes to martial arts, because when I first met you, you're older than me. You're about 10 years older than me. I'm going to be 53 next month.
Yeah.
And I think you're, what, 63?
Yeah, I will be.
You'll be 63. From what I had heard is that you're a tough guy. I mean, although you're a little bit shorter than me, I know that you can hold your own. And at first I thought, I'll wrestle you. And then I thought, the second you said challenge taken, I was like, this guy's about to... You'll get your ass handed to you, like I could already tell. But you do a lot of different things. Like, did you, when you were growing up, did you get bullied?
No.
Okay, what was your drive to go in the direction of martial arts? I took a lot of martial arts myself, so I liked the meditative part of it. I loved like the aspect of learning the techniques to be able to protect, and also, you could become a lethal weapon.
Right.
So.
Well, my oldest brother, he was a very excellent soccer player and also swimmer.
Mm-hmm.
My second brother, wanted to do something different. He became a basketball player, and so my dad was a wrestler. So somehow in there, and also very known in Iran martial arts. So
Okay.
I started martial arts because I just want to be also different. And my dad also said, that would be a good place for you to go.
Mm.
And so that's why I started martial arts. And then once I did it, I just loved it and just continued doing it.
And what was the specific martial arts that you studied?
I have a 10th degree in Shaolin Kempo, is the original martial arts of
Okay.
Shaolin monks. And then I have other Shotokan Karate 6th degree and HapKido Tae Kwon Do 7th degree.
Interesting. I took Serenji Kempo when I was much younger.
Yeah.
So I love Kempo.
Yeah.
And Kung Fu. I took some of that too, those classes. So as far as you came to the States, to California first,
Correct.
Southern California, 25 years old.
Yep.
You hit the ground running.
Yeah, right away, literally my brother said, okay, this is it. So I started going to school and looking for a job, start working right away.
Studying what in school?
I just went to start for regularly for just the,
General education?
general education, stuff like that.
What was your dream? What did you want to do?
My dream was just how can I live a good life? I really never had I want to have a particular degrees or anything like that. I just want to have a very nice life to do what I really like to do.
Were you fearful living in Southern California during that time, or were you fearless?
No, I didn't have any fear at all, and I had my brothers here too, so I had a lot of
There was family support.
family support, protection, and they were accomplished, and they say, "Hey, this is it," and I start just going at it.
So then you finish your general ed. Then what?
General ed, and then I started at that time. By that point, I got a job at the mental health hospital.
Where? What
Because
city?
called a Bellwood Health Center, and the owner of the facility knew my brother, and then
Where was that? Long Beach?
It was in Long Beach.
Yeah.
And they were running a place and providing a lot of holistic medicine as well, but they had a hard time working with people and their clients with addiction and a lot of trauma.
Well, when you talk about holistic medicine, like explain that. What? Break it down for me.
Holistic medicine is like if you do yoga, martial arts, biofeedback, neurofeedback.
And they had biofeedback
meditation.
and neurofeedback during that time.
They did.
This was what, the 80s?
That was in 80s, yeah.
Wow.
And he brought me on board in order for me to wake up the clients early in the morning, work them out, do meditation with them.
So you were already this kind of like rigid, you had a good physique, I'm sure. You even
Yes.
had hair during that time. I've seen pictures.
I love a lot of hair.
You had a lot of hair. You had this physique. You were already a person that was driven for success in the physical and spiritual realm.
Right.
And you were waking these guys up early in the morning. Did they want to deal with you?
Yeah, they did actually, because they had a hard time, because at that time they were making really good money, and he believed in biofeedback as well.
Well, what's biofeedback for those that don't know?
Biofeedback is that you get hooked up to these machines that it shows you your activity of your breathing and your brain, and then you learn how to breathe and how to communicate with your body and your mind together, so that way you can calm yourself down. So because especially with
And these were addicts and alcoholics that were
a lot of addicts, a lot of people in mental health, a lot
anybody
of
that had
anxiety,
no addiction to substances, but they had mental health.
mental health, yes.
Them too.
And they had some addiction as well.
This was a hospital
Hospital,
setting.
It's a big hospital with 4 different units. Yeah, we had adolescents and also we have adults.
So your job was to come and get these people up and going,
Up and going and
teaching them what?
teach them, make him focus, give him some
Yoga?
self-defense.
Even martial arts.
Yeah, but very simple,
Simple stuff. Nothing too
Self-defense.
complicated
Yeah.
that's going to make them.
Yeah, especially with,
Overwhelmed.
with a lot of women that he wanted them to become more confident and powerful. So to learn some self-defense will help them out.
And some of the women probably encountered major, maybe sexual trauma.
Absolutely.
So this was a way to like empower them to become protective of themselves.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So during that time, how long did you work there?
I worked for a couple of years, and then that's where I met Gina. So After that, they opened another facility, outpatient, Phoenix Center. And then
Phoenix Center in Long Beach?
in Long Beach, yeah.
And you met Gina, and what was she doing?
Gina, brought Gina from College Hospital. They make her clinical director. And that's where I met Gina.
Are we talking the college hospital that's in Cyprus?
Yes.
Yes.
So we went to Phoenix Center outpatient. At that time, we had a kind of like a IOP, like a PHP
For
5 days.
that place.
For the Phoenix Center, yeah.
Okay, the Phoenix
For
Center.
Phoenix Center, yeah. So my job was again. Oh, and I also went to school. I became a massage therapist and acupuncturist, shiatsu massage, all that stuff. So
Where did you learn? What set you in the direction of going to take those types of courses? Because you wanted to. Were you interested in being in the field of helping people
correct,
physically, mentally,
absolutely. Because
and spiritually?
Yeah, because my background was because of martial arts. It's all about that. How can I balance my physical, mental, and emotional together?
And when it comes to martial arts, I mean, obviously, it takes a lot of discipline
Absolutely,
and balance
a lot of discipline. Yeah,
and being at one with yourself.
right. And it just helps you out to how to manage your own emotions and feelings and not to react to anything. So it's very, very helpful. And
So you and Gina were colleagues at the time,
we were colleagues, yeah.
just friends in the same center.
I mean, the first year or so we were colleagues, and after that we became pretty close. And then, actually, our engagement party was at Phoenix Center.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, we threw
When she was on the show, she said that she thought you were gay at first.
yeah
And-
the first several months, because I just came from Europe, and the way I dressed up, it wasn't like your normal American guy dressing up.
Yeah.
And also,
Flamboyant, eccentric,
yeah,
which was normal for Europeans.
yeah, it was a very normal thing.
Still is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And also because she was I knew that she was just divorced
Yeah.
not that long ago, so I just want to make sure that she cleaned that up, gets clear before
So you stayed neutral. There was no intention.
I stayed very neutral. We were like a best friend.
Yeah.
We were hanging out all
Buddies.
the time, buddies. Yeah, having a great time, working out.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Yeah. So yeah, then at Phoenix Center we did that. Gina did her thing. Doing therapy and all that.
She was already a therapist, or was she
She was an associate.
associate degree?
Yeah, associate.
Okay.
So
So she wasn't an intern?
She was an intern.
She was an intern.
She was an intern, and then those days they would call him intern. Now they call him associate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but and then she was practicing and going to school to take her exam for his license.
Nice.
Yeah, and so that's how it was.
So then you guys had your engagement party, then you ended up getting married,
Correct.
and you had 2 kids.
Yes.
But along the way, you opened a counseling center
Yes.
in Long Beach area.
At the Cypress.
Okay, and what was this? Is the 80s
This was
or the early 90s?
it was like 90.
Okay, so it's right in the beginning of the 90s. You opened this counseling center. What was the purpose of the counseling center? What did you want to? What population did you want to cater to? Mental health and addiction.
Mental health and addiction, anything under mental health, which is addiction is part of that. And so when we opened, it was only me and Gina, and we used to call it Harmony of Body, Mind, and Spirit Counseling Center.
That's a lot of name.
I know. Well, that's why we changed it later on, the name, because it was just too long.
Or was it a small building or something?
We had 3 offices, and
In Long Beach?
in Cyprus,
Cyprus.
and which is very close. And so we opened it, and at that time we are offering all this holistic medicine and yoga and this and that. I used to get calls, what is that? What is yoga? What is this? I'm like, yoga has been around for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Well, people weren't familiar, like just
It
the way
wasn't
is now.
popularized like it
At
is
all.
now.
It wasn't popular at all.
Yeah.
I would teach, Tai Chi, guided meditation, a lot of the psychodrama.
Was there breath work during that time?
Absolutely.
It was already out and people were practicing.
It wasn't as popular.
It's very popular now.
But I remember me and Gina, we did all day breath work, a workshop. Oh my God, it was off the chart.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that Gina actually during that time went to her uh, childbirth
Mm-hmm.
under the breath work. So yeah, it was very interesting. Um, so we started that, and just continued doing that for many, many years. And then it's around right before around 1997 when everybody was freaking out about year 2000 and everybody was looking for engineers and IT people because they had to redo all their software, stuff like that. So I decided that, honey, why don't you run Harmony? Then I'm gonna start uh, doing recruiting. So I started IT engineering recruiting
Mm-hmm.
and opened my own place called Get eJob.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did that and
Little
I did a
little
lot.
little entrepreneur
Yeah,
like
yeah, I did that.
stuff on the side.
Yeah, and it was funny because when I would get consulting job from big companies like PowerWave Technologies that they
Uh-huh.
made all the Wi-Fi's at that time, very beginning,
Mm-hmm.
and and when they would tell me, yeah, I'm not an engineer or IT anything like that, and that's just, but I know I can do it.
Yeah.
So I started doing it, and I did really, really well. I did it for many years, and then when 9/11 happened, kind of that went down.
Yes.
So I kind of sold that and let it go, and then I went and worked for as a HR director for Car Culture Enterprises.
Carl Karcher.
Yeah, Cars Junior
For those of you that
Corporation.
don't know, Carl Karcher is the owner of Carl's Jr.,
Cars Junior.
which also, when I was recently in Atlanta, saw a Hardee's.
Hardee's,
And,
part of.
and I used to know Hardee's when I lived in Utah,
Yep.
and Hardee's is part of Carl Karcher's
Own.
enterprise.
Yes, they bought them out.
It looks just like it in other states.
Absolutely.
But the restaurant looks just like, I'm sure they serve the same type of food.
Yes.
It's just in California, it's called Carl's Jr.
Yes. Yeah, that like about 3,300.
And what were you doing
Restaurant.
for them?
I was their HR director.
HR director.
HR and recruit.
Hence the reason you have a lot of experience working or employing HR departments or things like that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So then during that time, then you were doing all this stuff. Gina was continuing practicing therapy
Correct.
and continuing her education,
Correct.
going up the ladder of
You're going on do all of that. She keep going to school and continue, and we hire more therapists in our facility at that time at Cypress.
Cyprus.
Yeah. So, and once that happened, I worked there for like another 5 or 6 years. So I learned a lot about HR and ton of conferences, going back to school, and so finally in around 2007-8. I decided that I want to open a rehab facilities,
Okay.
detox and rehab.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where that started it. So I started it from Costa Mesa, and then I went to Laguna Beach.
In Costa Mesa, you opened a sober living first?
Sober living, yes. While we were waiting for license, so I got the house run out of sober living, and
It was a sober living that was going to become a detox.
correct.
So you had a detox in Costa Mesa first. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and
Okay.
then we went to Laguna Beach, and so we had at the end we had 5 houses. That's what we kept in Laguna Beach.
Okay. So then you opened a center in Orange County.
Then in Orange County we opened a center. It was in Laguna Hills, and we were there for about 7-8 years.
Harmony Hills.
Harmony Hills, and then while I was doing that, and while I was doing the rehab, I want to have my own place. Then in 2010, I found a building that it would be perfect for doing counseling, IOP.
Your
and
own place.
My own place, holistic medicine.
Well, then what was it before in Laguna Hills? It was a different building, but it wasn't your own place?
It wasn't my own place. And
Whose was it?
It was huge. It was some guy that actually he used to provide Wi-Fi and internet for Laguna Woods people,
Yes, for the older.
for older community, and
Yes.
then somehow didn't work out. They kind of let him go, and he just had this huge building, beautiful, brand new. He built it, empty. It was only himself. He would just go. He was a Harley rider. He had his motorcycles in there, and so he knew Gina, not me really.
Okay.
So he gave us entire downstairs. It was huge. So we took over, and I start building Harmony, hiring more therapists, do other things, holistic medicine, and working with a lot of addiction issues. Stuff
Were
like
the
that.
therapists independent contractors working there, or were they working for Harmony Hills?
We had both. Some they were independent contractors, some were employee, and only working for us, and provide everything: massage therapy, yoga, all of that. So we did that for I think about 7.5 years, 8 years.
And then eventually you got your own building,
We got our own building
and it
and
became your own thing.
became our own thing. Yeah,
And it's been that since.
it's been there since. Yeah.
Even after you opened a detox residential that overlooked the water in Laguna Beach by 10,000 steps,
Yes.
you still always had the office in Laguna Hills.
Yes. we
Okay.
did.
And my understanding is that your therapist base is probably one that houses more therapists than anything in Southern California.
Yeah. I mean, we see a lot of kids, teens, adults, couples, and families. We do all of that.
Okay, and you provide many different types of holistic. I mean, it's advanced a lot since the 80s,
Absolutely.
obviously because times have changed too, so there's more to be offered. You've had an outpatient there, you have individual therapy, and that's what you still provide and do out of Harmony Hills.
Yeah. I mean, for
I mean, the detox is no longer in Laguna.
no,
that
I
closed.
sold them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because when we had a detox, we had residential, and then they would come to PHP, IOP, OP, and sober living, all that stuff. I had all of it. And then in 2019, I sold the residentials, and then I stopped the IOP and all that about a year and a half ago. I just kept psychotherapy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your wife, obviously, with everything that she does, because she does a lot,
Yeah.
she kind of stopped doing the individual therapy, but became more of a consultant,
Yeah, she became a consultant.
public
many-
speaker.
Public speaker. She has her own radio show.
She wrote some
recovery.
books.
She has written 3 books.
The radio show is called
KOCI Radio.
Ask Gina.
Ask Gina.
Ask Gina.
That's her Facebook and
She had me on there one time. I accidentally dropped a F-bomb. I didn't mean to.
yeah,
That was like a fine. It could have been a fine.
I remember.
Whoops. But anyway, she's a great lady. I know that she's had some of her own physical problems that you guys have navigated through quite well.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's been dealing with that, but she's nonstop. So she still does her consulting. She goes to gym every day. She goes to school,
Right.
and she's working on her new system, that emotional intuitive therapy,
Yes.
EIT. And
She talked about that on here.
yeah, and her new book is coming out.
Another new book.
Another new book.
Now, one of the things that's very admirable about you and your relationship with your wife is you seem like the perfect couple. You do. It doesn't seem like there's arguments, problems, no jealousy, nothing like that. You live your life, she lives her life, you come together
Absolutely.
every day.
Oh yeah, she has her own life. I have my own life, and then we have life together.
Uh-huh.
And we never question each other. Who are you going? Who is this? Who is that? Never, ever.
I think it's wonderful.
Either one. Yeah.
It's wonderful. So another thing is obviously now that you've grown together and you've been together for
36 years.
36 years, almost 4 decades. When did you first start writing books and why?
Well, I started writing my martial arts book because that was my passion.
Yeah.
And I always liked it because my dad was always during the dinner would tell us a lot of poems and read us poems. And about 20 years ago, because I have a lot of friends, as you know yourself, Persians, they're all about, poetry, many of them. I started going to visiting some places, and I told myself, since what my whole concept of living and life is, why didn't I start thinking about writing poetry? And so I started that about, about 20 years ago, but it was just very, very slowly. Up to 7, 8 years ago, I said, I'm just gonna try to write a book. And so I did that, the first one.
Is it hard to write a book? I mean, it takes a lot of motivation and a lot of time to actually put it together.
It is very hard.
But you're a pretty disciplined guy.
Yeah, I'm used to that. But the way it works for me is that because I meet a lot of people every single day.
Yeah.
I'm always out and just talking to people.
You're a social butterfly.
I am social and just...
You're the epitome of a social butterfly,
Yeah.
which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Some of us are introverts.
Yeah.
Some people are extroverts.
Extrovert.
Sometimes I could be extroverted too, and I like my time of
Actually,
silence. And
I'm
being with
actually
myself.
both. I'm extrovert and introvert.
Right.
That's why I can write the poetry and just sit, because I love also mythology,
Yeah.
history, philosophy. So
Who are your greatest poetic influences?
Khayyam.
Okay. Who else?
Khayyam is my number one, and then Hafiz,
And
and then Rumi.
so you do admire Rumi.
Yes.
And your Farid Tabrizy and Rumi's teacher was?
Shams Tabriz. Yeah.
So the poetry books, you write them. You often send me your own, like, texts of your poetry in the mornings.
Yeah, some of them, yeah.
And they're very well written.
Thank you.
Do you ever write in Farsi? Because I know you, obviously you're
Well, many of my friends that we go to poetry nights, they've been pushing me to write Farsi, but even though I can read and write in Farsi and talk, but writing poetry in Farsi is a whole another story.
Yes.
So I have written 2 poems in Farsi. So, and they liked it and they wanted me to read in their events. But that's it, just 2 so far.
Do you believe Rumi was a phenomenon?
Rome is amazing. Yeah.
Do you believe that nothing was written and it came off the top of his tongue and it rhymed perfectly and people were writing it for him?
That I don't really know 100%.
Yeah.
Because 1,000 years ago you hear the stories that's why it's a mythology, right? You hear things, but they've been changing, from what you hear. But
like I always,
he's amazing.
listen, if Eminem
Yeah.
can freestyle rhymes
Yeah.
so perfectly,
But Rumi has written a lot.
written, I thought that his students were
His students wrote it from, but it's a lot.
right,
There's
but
a lot of books.
supposedly was Spirit was talking through him and they would write it because it came so good.
So
But the deep part of him was that it was triple and quadruple entendres that had deep meaning. Like you have to dissect that stuff to really find the meaning in what because he's saying one thing, it could mean many other things. And usually it's about ego deflation. Usually it's about finding your higher self and through the higher source, and then being of service to people.
Well, that's the beauty of the poetry, is that especially for people like you and I, we're both ADHD. So we have
Speak
a hard
for
time.
yourself. I'm paying attention.
We have a hard time sitting and reading like pages of book, rather than you read 4 lines, and now you have to go in and think.
Spend time on the 4 lines.
Oh my God!
I did a
for
lot of Rumi
days.
classes, so
Yeah.
I definitely, we would spend a lot of time just in sections. But I'll tell you right now, speak for yourself, because when it comes to reading, if it's an interesting book, I'll spend time reading it.
Yeah,
And I'll read it all the way through.
Reading Dante Inferno. Many people that don't even
Dante's
know
Inferno was great. Yeah.
who that is or what it is.
Yeah.
So I do read Dante. I read stuff like that, but
Yeah.
it has to be really interesting.
Right.
Just not only that, you can read that 4 lines today and you understand something.
Okay.
Next month you read the same, you go, maybe it meant this. It all depends what emotions you're going through, what's going on with you, could change. That's what the beauty of the poetry is. Everybody reads and understands something different.
In helping people the way that you do help them, because obviously our topic is love and compassion for all.
Correct.
And
Well, truly, every morning when I go, there's a place that I go every morning, Laguna Coffee Company, and
Yes.
all the local people, they come, and the people that ask me, hey, how you doing? I said, I'm doing great as long as I'm breathing, and as long as all I want to do is to come a little bit more conscious. Most people probably they think like, really, but truly that's my real goal. That's all I want to do every day, because reflection of that, having my breath and having that compassion a bit more and be more conscious, I can do anything.
Do you think the majority of humans are not conscious?
Absolutely.
And obviously, people that have problems with drugs and alcohol or depression, anxiety are
Even a lot less.
a lot less.
Well, that's why they get hurt a lot, because when you're conscious, you're so aware and awake that there's no way you will do anything like that.
So obviously, humans become conditioned based off of their atmosphere and their environment, and they have certain thought processes or processes based off of what they've learned from people around them that say certain things, act a certain way, be a certain way. Depression can run within families, family systems, because perhaps maybe a parent was once a very depressed person. So the child takes on the parent's emotions or lack thereof, depending. If a person's always down, well, then the child might grow up being always down on life, right?
Right.
So human suffering and the human condition, that's just the way, that's the way of the world. And on top of that, with many, many other things that happen in the world. Example, when the pandemic happened, we saw lots of people, mental health was on a rise. Lots of people went into very depressive states of their lives. People lost their businesses. People thought there's nothing to live for. A lot of people that were in recovery for 20, 30 years that were completely abstinent and sober ended up relapsing, right?
Yep.
And for us, like some of us that are in the 12-step world, when we saw that, the ones that were relapsing, well, you know, I don't know, individually might have thought, well, what happened there? Like, why would you need to relapse during a time like that? That's actually a time when you should probably be of more service to people and helping people. But, you know, human suffering will always be something, it's the way of the world.
Right.
So as a person that wants to practice love and compassion, which you do, and practice these elements to try to help all, right? Can you break down a little bit of how you help an individual that seeks help from you? Do you individually?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, again, anything you want to do, first off, you have to work on yourself. Then when you talk to somebody to help them, then they're gonna say, "Oh, you're telling me to do this, but do you also do that yourself?"
They want to see that if you practice what you preach.
Exactly, exactly. So my thing is that, do exercises and right eating and meditation, and then all together. Then when you talk to people, you listen to them, and when they're suffering, if you can help them out in any ways you can. Obviously, you have to understand that how far you can go with that, because some people, if you help them, they're gonna ask for more and more. They're not changing, so you have to make sure how far you can go with that. But that is really the whole goal I have every single day.
Do you experience depression?
I don't.
How about anxiety?
Maybe anxiety sometimes.
Why? Like what?
know,
Describe a little bit of anxiety.
Describe like in sometimes, because I have two kids. The things sometimes they do, things happens to them.
Yes.
Or also even Gina or people that you love them, things happens to them.
Yes.
You're like, oh, and then you have to kind of hold it together and say, okay, how can I help?
Define anxiety. What is anxiety to you? What is the meaning of
Because I
anxiety?
cannot stop thinking about it.
The fear of the unknown,
Yeah, the fear of unknown, what's going to happen, what's the next.
future tripping,
Future tripping, yes.
which is unnecessary. A person that's conscious,
You don't need that.
it doesn't exist because it hasn't
Absolutely.
happened.
Absolutely.
So a person that's conscious is in the moment,
Right.
truly cherishing the moment, because that's really all we have.
It's all in balance.
Marveling in the moment, if you will.
Absolutely.
So something that's always inspired me about you, I've tried with you. Like, I know you do your morning walks on Saturday and Sunday mornings. You go down to Monarch Beach, and you guys go on long walks,
Yeah.
and really, like, I don't mind it if it's cool out, but I don't want a piercing sun to hit my head in the morning in the summertime.
Yeah, yeah.
I used to go with you, but you're more motivated in other areas of your life, which has always been very inspirational for me and admirable. You do yoga every single day?
Well, I used to do yoga every single day, but I don't now because of my positioning and the thing that I do. I do 3-4 workout every single day. So not that changes. Like now I do yoga now is 4 times a week, and
Yeah.
I do spinning 4 times a week, and do hiking 4 or 5 times, mountain biking, like jumping in the ocean. Now I start back in the ocean.
Even in this cold water?
In last 14 days I've been jumping.
You don't have to do one of those what are the cold water things that people go in the tub and it's like they freeze their
I have done. I
Yeah,
have
but you
done
don't need
that.
to do it if you go to the beach during this time of
Exactly.
year.
Absolutely. No. I just go jump and I love swimming as well.
Right.
So I just go and jump in after my workout.
Does it shock your body?
The first couple of seconds, but I'm used to it because I'm also a diver. I've been diving for, I don't know, 25 years, all over the place. My body's used to cold, and it's literally after 10 seconds, it's like that. It gets used to it.
You're a adventurous man.
Yeah.
Well traveled, well accomplished. You serve the community.
That's all that really matters, because we live with them, and the reflection of me to them and reflection of them to me, it's just a circle. That's what my new book is gonna be published. Is all about me, about that if you give your love and compassion to others and to the universe, they all will come back to you. So it's like a revolving door.
This book is called One Moment, One Life by Farid Tabrizy. This is amazing.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it's all poetry,
It's all poetry, and
daily process, my
The-
day. Where can your stuff be found?
at the Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Lulu, and in Europe, in 16, 17 countries, they also.
So if you're interested in Farid's books, it's Farid is his first name, and then Tabrizy, Tabrizy. He's an author. He helps a lot of people. This is what I want to do. First of all, I want to thank you for coming on here, because it's always nice to learn about people like you. Even though you're a good friend of mine, I learn more and more every time we talk. But also, what kind of energy can you put out into the universe for the suffering, for the people that want some inspiration, for those that want help? Can you please let us know?
One thing is that as they go through the help that they have to do in recovery, on top of that, meditation every single day. And during the meditation, make sure that you absorb and bring in more love and compassion from others, and give yours, reflecting all that. At the end of the day, all it takes is that be kind, sweet, nice, powerful, and then just try to help anybody. Always remember, even if you hold one hand, that it will save one life. That's all that matters, just one. So
Thanks for being my guest today.
thank you so much.
I know
for
you're about to
having
go on
me.
a hike after this.
Yeah, actually.
One of the many adventures that you do. I think our May gloom is letting up, and you're probably going to get a little bit of sunlight.
Well, you can come at 2:30.
I'm actually going to have another guest on today at 3.
Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic.
We're going to go live with that one. Yeah. But I appreciate you. I love you very much.
Love
Namaste.
you very much, too. Thank you so much for having me.
And this was another episode of Pej's Recovery Corner, a recovery podcast where you can subscribe on YouTube. Please do it. You can find us on Pej Interventions, and our channel is on there. You can also like it and share it with anybody. And until we meet again, thank you, Farid, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.